Title podcast. I'm your host, Bryan Jeansonne, the founder and owner of Lakeland Title. And for this episode, I wanted to explain what a hybrid closing is. So this might be a quick episode just because hybrid closing isn't a difficult concept to understand, but it is a term that if you're not in the real estate industry, you're probably unfamiliar with it. So a hybrid closing basically just means that you're going to e-sign a majority of your loan documents. So in the 90s, e-signature or electronic signature or even digital signature, if you want to call it that, they all mean the same thing. That technology came about in the 90s, and it really was adopted quickly by people in business and industry, just because it was this fast, convenient. Customers liked it for those reasons, and businesses did too. So it really kind of took off. And by the time you get to the early 2000s, I think about 2005, most every state had enacted laws that made digital signatures or electronic signatures just as legally valid as your hand signature. So, you've probably signed some kind of legal documents recently where you e-signed them. That's perfectly legal. It's just as valid as your, hand signature. And so a hybrid closing just takes that e-signature concept into the mortgage loan process. So, usually if the old way of doing it, a closing package would be 100 to 120 pages, and you'd be at the closing table for, 45 to 60 minutes, signing all those documents, for that loan that you're getting. Well, with the hybrid closing process, you're going to electronically sign before you even get to the closing table any document that doesn't have to be hand signed. So instead of you coming in and there being a stack of 100 to 120 pages of things to sign at the closing table, it reduces it to about maybe 40 to 60. It just kind of depends, because some lenders want some things hand signed, some don't. So it just kind of varies on how many pages are in there. And it reduces the amount of time that you're at the closing table, from that 45 minutes to an hour down to, 20 to 30 minutes. So you can really just, get in and out quickly. You could do it on your lunch break, and it just kind of really speeds up the closing process and, gets you, onto your new stage of life, and you can go start moving even earlier and quicker. And it just kind of really makes things a lot faster, taking up less of your time. And so, customers really enjoy it. I enjoy it just because it's less things that I have to print and then ship to the lender. The lenders like it because it's less things for them to, keep track of when they're getting documents back from me. They've already got most of their signed documents in their office with your electronic signature on it, and they're just waiting for the few things that must be hand signed to get to their office. So, it's kind of a win-win for everybody. So, it's definitely something you should inquire with your lender about if they offer a hybrid closing option. Of course, it always is your option. So if you don't want to do e-signatures, some people just don't like doing e-signatures. They want to do it the old-fashioned way and hand sign. That's fine. We can do that too. It's always your choice whether you want to do it or not. No one's gonna force you to. But you could, ask your lender if that's something that seems appealing to you. Just less time at the closing table and to kind of a much easier transaction. So some of the things that you will have to hand sign at the closing are going to be things like your note, your mortgage, any sort of affidavits that the lender wants you to sign. So, your affidavit of identity, your name and signature affidavits, things like that. They're still going to want you to sign, but most of the documents, can be e-signed. Now, we are working on the ability to do remote closings to where you wouldn't even have to come into the closing table. Some states already allow this. Louisiana's not one of them. We're working on it. So maybe in the next, year or two or three, we'll be able to do remote online notarization where you won't even have to come to the closing table. You could do it all from your living room if you wanted to, or if you were on vacation, anything like that. You could do that, but we haven't gotten there yet, but we're working on it. So good people are trying to make that happen. It's just taking a little longer than expected, but watch for that. Maybe in, next year or two, you'll be able to just not even come to my office and we can just do it all, over Zoom or something. So look for that. Now, if you're buying a house with cash or, investment property and you're paying cash, we can still do a hybrid closing, but it doesn't really make a lot of, practical sense in that situation, just because when you're doing a cash closing, the closing's already 20 to 30 minutes anyway, just because you're not signing, a lot of documents. There's not all those disclosures and forms and things like that come with, a mortgage, in a situation where you're buying cash. So it doesn't really save that much time to do it for, cash transactions, but if you're getting a mortgage or you're, refinancing your current mortgage, it can save you a considerable amount of time if you, ask for that hybrid closing option. Like I said, most lenders do now offer it. Before the pandemic, that wasn't the case, but once the pandemic hit and we were trying to get people in and out of the closings as fast as possible, most of your lenders have really embraced the hybrid closing model. So if you hear that term, hybrid closing, just know that means it's just that you're going to be signing a lot of the documents electronically. And, it's something where you'll be sent a link to a site to log into to electronically sign everything. I have to verify that before you, hand sign anything that you've actually done your electronic signatures already. And it just really speeds things up, makes things a lot quicker and easier for everybody. So I hope y'all enjoyed that episode. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please like the video and subscribe. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please give us a high rating and subscribe so you get updates on future episodes. We're going to try to start doing more of these. I'm just trying to find the time to get more of them out. But again, I thank y'all for listening or watching, and we'll see y'all next time.